Did you grow up knowing that this work was what you were going to be dedicating your life to?
No, I didn't. I didn't at all. I knew that I wanted to, cultivate community in some aspect, but when I was in high school, I was interested in creating a golf camp and a golf program, and I was doing that, and that's like pretty lesbian of me, but I wouldn't say that it was anything like what I do with Leslie.
Yeah. Let's just jump right in.
Okay.
Obviously, the Leslie is an event series, for folks who don't know, that empowers queer folks here in New York City.
Correct.
Tell me about how the Leslie came about.
Well, I was at Club Coming, which is a fun East Village spot if you haven't been. Super queer, super fun. I spoke to the bartender, jokingly saying, you guys should have a night for the lesbian crowd, women, non-binary folks.
Trans
And
folks.
he said, let's do it.
Yeah.
Next month. And so we just jumped right in, and we had our event series at Club Coming for a couple years, and then started traveling around to different locations and doing online shows during the pandemic as well. So we've been around for almost 5 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible. So the term safe space, I think, is one that kind of garners an eye roll from certain people, or like a laugh or what have you. But it's there's something really to be said about the Leslie and what it's doing in creating spaces that feel legitimately safe for queer, trans, non-binary folks in the city. How does one create that? Because it's something that you almost can't, right? It has to be organic in a way. You can have certain elements, but like, how do you achieve a space that feels truly safe for folks?
It's a couple different elements. One prong is being comfortable making sure that that safe space is only the folks that feel safe in it. Cultivating a crowd of, queer folks that are all happy to celebrate queer joy and specifically uplift and amplify queer voices. And I was, lucky enough to meet a lot of trans and non-binary performers in the city, drag performers, who welcomed me into their spaces and their shows, and I met other folks who really just kept passing the baton.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
On any given night, who's hanging out there? Like, who are the performers? What music is playing? Like, set the scene for us so those watching know, like, okay, I'm gonna be there.
It's always different, but we try to have like a through line of celebrating artistry. So sometimes it's a singer. We love Kate Yeager. She's a lesbian, the high school boy of your dreams,
Incredible.
a singer-songwriter who we had at a Leslie a few months back at Brandon Saloon. It's a super well-known drag performer like Junior Mint.
Right.
Someone who we've had at several Leslies. It's a safe, comfortable, fun space.
Last year, y'all partnered with Dyke March, which is actually coming up, I think this Friday, June 24th.
Saturday,
Yes.
June 24th.
June 24th, yep. Obviously, historically, Dyke March has kind of like been seen in a different light than like a pride parade, right?
Yeah.
Like activism and education, and I think more seriousness is held at Dyke March, and it is a space that really honors that before it honors, a celebration, right?
Correct.
So tell me about that experience of partnering with them, because obviously, like you've mentioned now, your job is to create spaces that feel joyful and celebratory, but it's also so important in this time to hold space for the gravity of what queer folks are facing as well. Yeah. So first of all, how did that look last year at Dyke March? And also, how do you, manage to do both of those things successfully?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, given the fact that this year alone, there's been over 400, plus anti-trans, anti-drag legislation pieces that have come out in this country alone. I mean, this is not, a light time to be a queer person, specifically a trans person. I think the great thing about Dyke March is they've always, and specifically recently, really tried to highlight how being, a self-identified dyke does not just mean one thing. You can be a trans dyke, you can be a non-binary dyke, a bisexual dyke. There are different, ways to identify and still, find yourself under that umbrella. This Saturday's march is going to be a protest with Dykes of all ages and people who have been going to this protest for decades. Yeah, I think making sure that we respect the stories and the history of Pride and our queer elders and, you know, Dyke March and how everything is really encapsulated in Pride as a protest and the history of, you know, this country and being queer in this country. You know, that's really important for both Leslie's mission and I think Dyke March, and be loud and proud as Dykes.
Did you grow up knowing that this work was what you were going to be dedicating your life to?
No, I didn't. I didn't at all. The community aspect was always there, bringing people together that, you know, don't know each other or do know each other and feel like they don't have a space for themselves. Yeah, I had no idea that I would be queer when I was younger because I just was not out and with myself. I was not aware of what was coming, and I think, you know, coming to New York was such an eye-opening experience for me that within a year of moving here, I was starting Leslie because of how excited I was about, you know, bringing my own community more space.
Wow.
And I think that has just continued.
You weren't just out, you were organizing other people who were out long before you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
You skipped like 20 steps. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, this is gay TM, you know. This is a next level exponent.
A real girl boss.
Yeah.